now the playoffs start for your Lakers. The Rockets' red glare, the three-point bombs bursting in air. Here we go.
Oh, so you ready?
I think you're going to have some big problems.
How many cases we got on that?
We'll see.
Okay.
We're about to do that in just a minute.
Okay.
Yes, we are.
All that confidence.
I'm very confident.
Before we get to the Lakers and who they'll be facing, we've got to break down everything we saw last night because it provided another thrilling end to a Game 7. James Harden went 1 for 9 from beyond the arc for only 17 points, but made up for it on the defensive end when it mattered. Up 1 with 3 seconds left. Harden blocked the three-point attempt by Lou Dort, who'd had a game that would have given the Thunder the lead. After Houston made 1 of 2 free throws, OKC had a second left to inbound, but couldn't complete a pass to get his shot off in time. So, Shannon, did the Rockets win this game, or did the Thunder lose it?
The Rockets. The Thunder lost this ball game. Skip, they were in clutch situations. And the previous games that they won those games in clutch situations. Nobody was better in clutch situations than Chris Paul this year. And for whatever reason last night, they weren't good. You look at it, Skip, they went 1 for 9 with 4 turnovers in the final 4 minutes. Chris Paul missed a bunny. He's in the lane 5 feet from the basket, and he left it short. Dennis Schroeder earlier, Skip, he missed 2 point-blank layups. That's not like them. Those are the shots that they were making in the previous games that they had won. And Chris Paul took 1 shot in the final 8 minutes, Skip, after making 3 of his shots and 2 of them were threes? That's what Chris... No, come on. Skip, in a game in which Lou Dort gives you 30. You got to win. In a game in which he gives you 30 and James Harden struggles on the offensive end like he did, that's a game you've got to win. You've got to win that game. All you wanted to do was give yourself an opportunity late in the ball game. They didn't blow you out. It wasn't a situation you were trying to play catch-up game. You were right where you wanted to be. I guarantee you, if the OKC Thunder was drawing this game up and say, how would you like for it to play out? Just give us a chance with the last 5 minutes in the ball game. That's all we can ask for. Billy Donovan, that's all he wanted, was an opportunity to be in this ball game late in the ball game. And it was right there for them for the taking. And they let it go. They let this ball game go. There's no other way around it. I tell you what I did like. I like a guy, Skip, that when he's struggling on the offensive end or struggling in any aspect of his game, he finds another way to impact the ball game. And in years past, I'm not so sure James Harden would have done what he did last night because those 3 block shots, those steals were big considering that how poorly he had played offensively. But Skip, the Thunder lost this ball game. There's no other way around it. They go 1 for 9, 4 turnovers in the final 4 minutes when they've been as good as anybody in the NBA in those situations. What hurt them the most, Skip, was turnovers. Well, if Houston's going to stay close to you in the ball game as far as rebound, and you're going to turn, this is what happened, and they lost this ball game. But the Thunder gagged this one off, Skip. There's no other way around it. Gallinari had made how many 57 straight free throws? And what did he do coming up? Spit the bit. Chris Paul should have taken that shot because he was 6 of 6 in the ball game, Skip. He's a 90% free throw shooter. I understand Gallinari had made 57 straight, but let me ask you a question.
29 in a row in
these playoffs.
Yeah.
But let me ask you a question, Skip. How was he shooting the ball last night? How many in a row did he make last night? We're not talking about, see, you want to talk about, oh, he did this, he did that. Last night.
If you were the coach, you're sending Danilo Gallinari
I make Chris Paul. I make Chris Paul shoot that shot.
Stop it.
Skip, the man is 90%.
That's the easiest 20/20 hindsight I have ever heard in the history of Undisputed.
Ask Steve.
59 in a row? It's absurd.
Skip, how was he playing last night?
I don't care.
See?
Playing last night.
And that's why you're going home.
Big shots for this team.
I'm talking about last night.
Oh, stop it.
I'm talking about last night. See, thing. You like to dig up the past. Well, he did this, he did that. We're talking about right now in the moment.
I'm digging up the present.
And how did he play?
59 in a row? You're kidding. There's no way. If you're sitting in Billy Donovan's seat, there's no way you say, Chris, you go shoot this.
Can I ask you a question?
Stop it.
How was he playing last night? That's all I'm asking. How was he playing last night? Did you notice of all the people that played in the game last night, he had the lowest plus minus. Excuse me, highest. It was in a bad way. He was minus 16 in 27 minutes. Go ahead.
I am going to take nothing away from the Houston Rockets. They won this game in all the little big ways they've been winning lots of games this year since they went small. I have told you again and again and again and again and again, the Rockets now play defense. The Rockets now disrupt you with their amoeba zones and their small ball scramble defenses where they all play all 5. And guess who leads the playoffs to date in forcing turnovers? Oklahoma City's turned the ball over. It's because they're getting it turned over by the Houston Rockets. If you look at this team right now, who, like in the playoffs so far, Covington is third in deflections. James Harden is fifth in the playoffs in loose balls recovered. Who in the history of the NBA could have imagined James Harden, who can just fat cat it? That's his reputation, that he's not going to try hard. He's going to play no defense. He's fifth in the playoffs so far in loose balls recovered. And P.J. Tucker leads in the playoffs in charges taken. That's how they're beating people, with their defense. Last night, they clamped down on the Thunder down the stretch, and this was the clutch over that stretch that you're talking about. And all I know is that the shot of the game came from the least likely source on the Rockets. Got to give credit to P.J. Tucker.
Yeah.
And if you look at the box score, what did he do for the game? P.J. Tucker has a grand total of
5 points.
2 of 8. He has 5 points, but look at that. He had 9 rebounds, and he had 4 steals. But he had one shot that won the game. With 1:25 left, what had Shai Gilgeous-Alexander just done? He had escaped wide open to the corner. They had found him, and he had buried the 3 that suddenly put, wait a second, the Thunder are up.
Right.
So the Thunder up. I love that expression from back in the day with obviously Durant and Westbrook in my hometown of Oklahoma City. Thunder up. And all of a sudden, Houston comes down to the other end, and if we could see this shot that PJ made, they run him off the three-point line because all he does is shoot corner threes.
Yeah.
That's all. His whole life is corner threes. And Steven Adams made a run at him, and he goes up and under, and watch this. Up and under, that's a hard shot. It's a little 12-foot running
You don't expect it.
How many of those did he shot in the whole year? Because I checked this out. During the year, he attempted 299 threes. He attempted only 127 twos in the race. So only 30% of his shots in the regular season were from 2-point.
Right.
And that's a running jumper where you're kind of going toward the basket.
Right.
And it's a touch shot that's not in your repertoire. So you're like, how do I do this? Do I just barely do it? How do I just gently leave it just over the rim? He swished it.
Yeah.
They never relinquished the lead from that point forward.
Right.
So then we come down to the play of the game that you mentioned for the Oklahoma City Thunder, and Chris Paul has had a sensational year. He has led in clutch points. I got it. But he creates for himself an 8-foot wide-open jumper in the lane. Okay, this is it now. This is for the lead. And to your point, he kind of short-armed and get it up on top of the rim. It's so short, it just bangs off the front of the rim. And that's basically going to be the ball game, which brings us...
If you give Chris Paul 10 of those shots, how many do you think he makes?
Game 7, 44 seconds left. I don't know. If it's all about circumstance. Chris Paul's never played in the NBA Finals.
Oh, it's all about circumstance. But you want Gallinari taking that free throw, Game 7.
59 in a row? That's absurd. It's just absurd. Okay, so it had been the Lou Dort Memorial Game. I love Lou Dort. I have tweeted about him before. I have said Sam Presti strikes again. Chip off the block of R.C. Buford in San Antonio.
Right.
Sam Presti is always, like R.C. Buford, state where James Harden obviously played. And what did Lou Dort do in his 1 year? He was the Pac-12 Freshman of the Year. And he made first-team All-Defense Pac-12. He made second-team All-Pac-12.
He was Defensive Player of the Year.
Okay, so wait a second. Undrafted, and the Thunder stole him, and they sort of stashed him in the G League for much of this year, not much, but a part of this year. And all of a sudden, the first time I saw him play, I said, that kid can play.
He built like a football player.
He's a strong safety. He's 6'3", 220. In all the years I have watched James Harden, a revolutionary, game-changing offensive player, I have never seen anybody defend him better than Lou Dort defends him. I believe they have played against each other pickup games at Arizona State offseason because obviously they both went there.
Right.
And there's something about this kid where he beats him to the spot every time. James Harden can't get past him.
Right.
James Harden can get past anybody. Obviously, with the threat of the step-back 3, he puts you on skates and he beats you right-handed or left-handed to the basket. And Lou Dort will not let him get an inch either way.
Right.
I've never seen, he's doing it with stoutness and quickness because he's so wide. I can't find a crease.
Yeah.
He's beating me to the spot every time.
Right.
He's heading me off at the pass every time.
He slides well. He has great lateral movement, Skip, but at 220 pounds, he's not easily dislodged from his spot. Ooh. And so that's what James normally could do. He can normally get separation, dip his shoulder, and the kid is right there. Like I said, he's built like a football player. Okay. He's not, you look at his shoulders, those are not basketball shoulders.
Nope. So Lou Dort was also dominating the game on the offensive end.
He was.
And just for the record, in this series, so far, up to last night, he had shot 7 for 38 from 3. That's 18%. During the regular season, he was a 29.7 three-point shooter.
Yeah.
Okay, what's the game plan going to say about Lou Dort? Let him shoot.
Yes.
Let him shoot. And Lou Dort has the highest arc of any three-point shooter in the league. He just launches these moon balls. And last night, who knew?
It's going in or he's missing by a mile.
But they started to rain from heaven right through the hoop. He makes 6 three-point shots and scores 30 points. How often is Oklahoma City going to be able to trust and depend that? Nothing. You're never going to get that again.
There's only been 2, before Lou Dort, there's only been 2 guys, 21 or younger, to score 30 points in a Game 7. You might have heard of them. One is Kobe Bryant, the other is LeBron James. Lou Dort is in that company now, Skip. That's going to be a trivia question one day.
Have mercy. So he is the reason they're afloat. They're in the game. And I told you yesterday, if Oklahoma City can somehow hang in this until the last couple of minutes, I'm figuring Oklahoma City's going to find another way to win. Was he pouting? Did he go into his shell on defense? No, he's playing his tail off on defense, even though he can't scratch on offense.
Right.
He's frustrated and tormented, but now let's see this last play unfold. Here we go. Chris Paul, he's got nowhere to go, and he gives it up to Shai Gilgeous.
Almost got it stolen by Russ.
And all of a sudden, look at James. He's guarding even Adams, and he had to wait until the last split second to leave Steven, because if he leaves him too early, Shai Gilgeous is going to just lob for a dunk. Look at this. James is guarding the center, and at the last second, he bolts sprinter right out of the blocks. And again, who has been fouled the most in NBA history on three-point shots? Who understands how to draw a foul on a three-point shot? James Harden.
Right.
He's the ultimate foul drawer on three-point shots. Well, conversely, he's the ultimate, I know how not to foul on a three-point shot.
Well,
so look what he did. He went sideways.